Why do you think so many of your subscribers are so preoccupied with whether you are married or what you do for a living? Hi, my name is Ivana and I've been living in Bangalore now for 3 years. In this video, I'm going to answer a couple of questions that you guys had, which were asked very frequently. So I'm going to talk about what kind of work I do here, my marriage plans and my future in India, and how I feel Indians should respond to people who love to criticize India. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. Why do you think so many of your subscribers are so preoccupied with whether you are married or what you do for a living? Do you think there is a culture in India that finds it hard to accept that a single woman can survive and be successful? Is this tied to you being from another country, and do you get similar comments from people outside of your YouTube following? It's not just Indians, it's not just my subscribers, it's not just foreigners. There are just so many people in this world who never really got a real insight in what foreigner life in India looks like. To give you a perspective, 5 years ago, internet wasn't even common in India. So even when people wanted to share their perspective, they did not have that opportunity. I, funnily enough, came across a blog from a foreigner living in India, and it was super fascinating for me to read about her experiences. Regarding to my marital status, I do think that is a specifically Indian thing. Family life is such an important cornerstone of Indian culture. A community sense of taking care of each other, I think, is compelling these people to inquire about that, because at the end of the day, I just think they don't want me to be alone and they are concerned about me. But it's all good. I have a boyfriend. I do intend on getting married. I do intend on having children in the future, but I just am not keen on sharing that part of my life on camera. So I hope that answers your question. Why did you stop making daily vlogs and stop numbering them? I really miss those days. Foreigner living in India is becoming so common now, plus repetitive. Oh, that's actually a huge compliment that you love the daily vlogs so much. I actually wrote a whole blog post about why I stopped making them. In short, it was because I felt that a lot of people got so attached through the daily vlogs that they started invading my privacy up to a point where it made me really uncomfortable. Also, I fell in love and I did not want to share that part of my life on camera. And finally, the biggest reason, when starting a new life in a new country, there is so much unexpected things that demand your attention and drain your energy. Having to take care of that, it became just impossible for me to continue daily vlogging. But if you're interested, you can also read that blog post. Regarding to foreigner living in India becoming so common or repetitive, I think that is just your own perception, because I keep getting so many questions on a daily basis on what it's really like to live as a foreigner in India. So I'm very happy that your curiosity is satisfied, but there are just too many people out there who are still too curious and don't know enough about it for me to switch my content to something else. So I will keep doing that as long as there is a need and a curiosity for people to learn more about that. How are you earning a living here in Bangalore? Would you like to give some insights so that if anybody is interested in the jobs you do? I have my own business as a business consultant, as a public speaker, as a content creator, and I've had that business for the past 5 years. So if you want to do the job that I do, start your own company. How do you manage going to developed countries now, since you are earning in rupees, which is very weak to other currencies? Well, my friend, the living expenses in India are also a lot lower than in those developed countries. And I feel this is a very important question, because a lot of Indians seem to have this fantasy that just because you're earning a higher wage in a developed country, you also get to keep a lot more of that money. Let me burst that bubble for you. The average salary in the Netherlands is 2,500 euros. Your rent will be on average 700, 800 euros. The average groceries will be 300 up to 400 euros. Your expenses for insurance will be 150 up to 200 euros. Your transportation costs will definitely be 100 up to 200 euros. If you want to go for dinner, it will be at least 25 up to 35 euros. Whereas in India, an average dinner would be 500 up to 1,000 rupees. So don't get caught up in that fantasy that just because you're earning a higher salary, you also get to keep a lot more money. Your expenses will also be a lot higher. Also, I feel it's very important to emphasize that my situation is different than somebody who is an employee. I have my own company, I have my own business. So unlike an employee who is working for a company, there's no cap on my salary. I am the only person who decides if my salary this month is going to be 1 lakh, 5 lakh, or maybe even 0, which sometimes happened during COVID. Whereas if you are an employee, there is always a cap on your salary, no matter if you're the general manager or the CEO. Somebody always gets to decide your salary, and I am not in that position. I decide my own salary. How long are you planning to stay in India? If yes, would you relocate to another city? I definitely did not leave my whole life behind in the Netherlands to not plan for a long-term future in India. And my long-term future plan in India is Mumbai. But for now, I'm very happy in Bangalore. What is the one best thing you learned which you would carry all through your life by living in India? Patience. Endless rivers of patience. I remember Nishta filling out at least 40 documents for her visa application in the Schengen Eurozone 3 months in advance. I was like, how do you mentally deal with this? And she was like, oh, it's normal for us. And I'm like, what? And there are so many of these things that happen in India where your patience levels are just out of this world, and I'm definitely learning that in India, which will benefit me anywhere else in the world. How to live in India as a foreigner. Bureaucracy stuff, it drives me nuts at the moment. Patience, my friend, patience. And also hire experts. Hire an accountant who can help you with the taxes, who is specialized in, dealing with foreigners in India. Hire lawyers if you need people to explain legal things to you. But patience. At the end of the day, it's all about patience, like I mentioned before. Will we ever get to see your boyfriend? Like, ever? 99% I would say no, because he is an extremely private person, and I have really seen the benefits of not putting your relationship online for everybody to judge. What is most important for you as a creator? To spread a different perspective on the world, which is predominantly a positive perspective, because I very much believe in focus on what you love, ignore what you hate. I used to work a lot with traditional media when I used to work in the corporate world, and I've seen how much negativity sells, but also how much it really influences the mindsets of the people who consume that kind of media. So for me, it's super important to just put out a different positive perspective out there, because I believe more happy, content people in this world will make this place also a better place for me to live in. So I think that is my most important thing as a creator. And do you get recognized in the streets a lot now that you're an established and influential content creator? High praise, thank you so much. Sometimes, obviously due to COVID, I don't go out that much. Previous to COVID, however, there was this area where I used to hang out a lot. There was this cafe where I used to go a lot. There, I would say maybe once a week or something. What is your Myers-Briggs type? Well, I went online and did a personality test. In case you don't know, Myers-Briggs type is a personality test. It came out to ESFP characteristics. They make up about 5% of the population. Hoe heb je de liefde gevonden in India? So translated, how did you find love in India? Through mutual friends. Did you used to ice skate in the Amsterdam canals? Groetjes van Amsterdam. Groetjes terug. No, it's actually quite rare for the Amsterdam canals to freeze over. So in all the time that I lived there, they never were frozen. In case you don't know, they just recently did freeze over and people went ice skating in the Amsterdam canal. So in case you did get to do that, that's really awesome. Your first picture in India, this is the one. Which one of your Maggie recipes is your favorite? Milk Maggie is still 100%. I don't care how much fun you make of me. It is not a foreigner thing. I actually also made a video about it with my friend Saloni, and I've linked it down in the description below in case you have never heard of Milk Maggie. Oh my gosh, go ahead and watch that video because you're missing out. What will be your reply to people who love to criticize India? I need some crickets in here. Let me tell you something. Like I just mentioned, I used to work in the corporate world as a communications consultant, specializing in public relations. So I used to work for large companies like Procter & Gamble and BlackBerry for 6 years. One of the first things that you learn is that regardless of what the media writes about you, the moment you start responding to that, whatever it is, positive or negative, you are acknowledging that. So basically, 9 out of 10 times, you will refrain from a response. I actually also have a fun story about this, especially also for my Dutchies. In the airline industry, KLM, which literally is an abbreviation for Dutch Royal Air Force, they used to be the leading airline company. At one point, this new company called EasyJet, you may have heard about them, entered the market as a new budget airline, and they started challenging KLM. They basically started comparing themselves with KLM, saying things about KLM. Unfortunately for KLM, they made a massive mistake and started responding to EasyJet, hence acknowledging EasyJet and drawing attention to EasyJet from their own customers who now discovered a new budget airline, and this is how EasyJet was actually established in the Dutch market. So coming from a PR background, I would always say you don't respond, because the moment that you are somebody and you start responding to a nobody is the moment that you make that nobody into a somebody. Also, a very, very interesting story in the Indian context would be when PewDiePie was making fun of Ekta Kapoor, and she responded with this tweet. In case you're a foreigner and you have no idea who Ekta Kapoor is, or if you have no idea who PewDiePie is one of the largest YouTubers in the world, and Ekta Kapoor is the largest producer of very famous and popular Indian those daily serials, soap series. I honestly still haven't figured out if Ekta Kapoor's response was massively ignorant or genius. Ignorant because the moment she starts speaking about PewDiePie, she's a somebody, right? And he's supposed to be a nobody to her. She's acknowledging him and making him into a somebody. But at the same time, she may have just drawn way more viewers to her soap series than, before PewDiePie mocked her and she responded to him. I honestly still haven't made up my mind if it was genius or ignorant. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts about this. But yeah, in terms of responding to people who love to criticize India, who? Did you ever face racism as you are not Indian? If not, that's so great. Unfortunately, yes, I did. But I'm very, very happy to report that doesn't happen often. And when it happens on my own channel, I usually block those people so they don't get a chance to come back. In real life, I'm just like, whatever. Same response as before, like, bye. I don't want you in my life. Have you met or tried to connect any other foreigners living in Bangalore? For sure. My friend Tina is actually from Croatia, so we are fellow Balkan girls. My nail artist / friend Miriam is from Canada, and I love both of them. What can India learn from Netherlands and vice versa? So this question actually comes up a lot. I don't think I have answered it very specifically. I would say what India can learn from the Netherlands is a higher tolerance for failure, because I believe that there's a huge taboo on failure in any kind of way in India, and I don't think that's necessary. We're human beings and we learn through our mistakes. And then I think what the Netherlands can learn from Indians is a lot more tolerance. I feel the Netherlands always feels that they have it figured out in the best possible way, whereas Indians are always curious to learn how things can be done better and how they can become better. I feel the Dutch are quite complacent in that kind of way, and they can definitely learn that from Indians. Welk Nederlands eten mis je het meest? So what Dutch food do I miss the most? Extremely simple, boterham met kaas. So just a plain cheese sandwich. Dutch bread is amazing, Dutch cheese is amazing. A simple cheese sandwich, so good. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to put a thumbs up. If you would like to see more of my videos, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and then I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!